Well, morning, everybody. I'm Holly after a nap. So this morning you've been watching me like struggling with whatever illness or plague thing I've got going on here. But I've had a nap and I'm feeling much fresher. Uh, and of course, I'm the organizer of Wise Women Gathering and I'm here to talk to Star today. So I'm going to hand over to you, Star. Just tell us where you are in the world, who you are, what you do. We'll start there and we'll see where we go.
Awesome. My name's EveningStar NightWalker, and I'm joining you from Warrnambool in Victoria. I am a shamanic earth priestess and work with cyclical wisdom. So I have a passion around, understanding our natal moon's soul progression. And then it's the cycles within the cycles within the cycles. So my beautiful teacher, Jane Hardwick Collins, is also part of the Wise Women Gathering this year, and which is very exciting to be teaching alongside her. But it's about kind of the work that I do is about helping women to reclaim the power that lies in our menstruation cycle. And the title that kind of, I give myself as the trigger guardian to be able to hold that space for women to go into, the emotional charges, the triggers, all the things that kind of, often in today's society get so shut down that we become reactive and defensive, and often relationships become such an effort, even with our children, because we've not been raised in a society that allows us to tap into that second biological clock of our infradian rhythm, which is the 4 phases of the moon, the 4 phases of our menstrual cycle, and, the 4 seasons of our earth. And when we're able to do that and also surround ourselves with like-minded women in a healed sisterhood, we have that ability to lean into those triggers, lean into those spaces that are challenging, and actually learn to grow and evolve through them to, allow our triggers to become our superpowers. And I don't think that we can do that unless we reclaim, sacred women's business, coming back into circle, being able to, reclaim the red tent and have other women, elders, children raised in this society where we talk about our menstrual cycle, we talk about the blood rites, and we actually start to move through rites of passage in a way that allows us to know where we are and where we belong, not only within our bodies, but within society and our community. And a lot of what I do is actually help women, who are, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, move through the maiden to mother. Or even the child to maiden rite of passage that they were never offered during that time in their life, and how powerfully impactful that can change things like our big maiden wounds of being jealous and resentful and all of those sort of things into this beautiful energy of the cycle that we're actually meant to be in life, which is either, mother or Marga or even crone. But so many women are actually, leaving this world in the age of crone, but still living in, a wounded maiden society because of the patriarchy.
So let's clarify. So when you say that you're helping through those rites of passage, these are in retrospect, right? So it might be a 50-year-old woman, and then you're working with her to kind of re-image that menarche period, say. Is that
Absolutely.
what you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do that one-on-one or in retreat style. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you clearly have not done the decolonizing the circle course yet that all educators have to do, because I think you'd be using some different words. So let's hold that one and see where it goes once you've done that mandatory course. It's very important for me that we hold very safe spaces in lots of different ways. So I'm interested to hear where you go once you've done that course, which has to happen before we get to the conference in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So to my knowledge, this is the first year of you coming to Wise Women Gathering. Is that right?
It is. Absolutely. It's first year. Yeah.
First time educator. That's
Yes.
quite rare, actually. Often women come first and then they apply.
Yeah. And then we've got actually my mum and my daughter coming with me.
Yes.
So there'll be 3 generations, which will be so beautiful.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I do the same. My mum comes and my daughter comes. And my daughter's sort of grown up through there, right? She's been in kids camp and maidens camp, and now she's moved on to the adult stage. Yeah. It's really nice for them to see that, because often, I mean, she doesn't want to go to any of my workshops. She doesn't want to go to, she didn't want a menarche cycle ceremony with me, but then she goes to Sequoia's session,
Yeah.
it's like,
Gorgeous.
this is the beauty of having these spaces that we can have all these ready-made mentors for our kids
Yeah.
as they're moving into those development stages where they don't want us anymore. They're not
Yeah.
interested. Your daughter's a bit younger though, so she's not quite over you yet.
Yeah, no, she still thinks I'm a superhero, so it's good. I know the day will come when she doesn't.
That's awesome. Yeah, so don't be surprised if you have all these great ideas about having a special ceremony for her and she's like, meh, I don't need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not always easy to come the first time, right? Like it's a journey. Like I like to think about journeys as journeys begin way before like we get in the car. Yeah, there's all these processes. Probably the first time that you heard about Wise Women Gathering, but then even before that, maybe this journey started the first time you heard about Jane's work, or it's a very piece by piece process that we end up getting to some sort of fruition. And of course, we know it's a cycle, so the wheel just keeps turning, and we end up somewhere else anyway.
Absolutely.
Do you want to talk about that, like the journey of coming, coming from another state as well? Like just, yeah, anything you want to talk about in terms of journeying here?
I find that, over the last 20 years, even as a, natural health practitioner, the journey begins as soon as we kind of hear the call. And the call came for the Wise Women Gathering for me, during one of our 4SJ workshops, when my teacher said to me, she said, I just had this dream where you were presenting at the Wise Women Gathering. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I looked it up, and being from Victoria, it's not something that I've been to before. And, then I applied and was accepted. And it's really interesting what challenges come up along the way. And being able to sit in that space of witnessing and really feeling into the challenges and the obstacles that go, okay, so I can either push through these challenges and grow and step forward and keep this cycle moving, or I could completely succumb to, nah, I'm not going, I'm not in it, it's not happening. And that hasn't happened for me. But there has been times where I'm like, what am I doing? Because it is a huge journey for me and my mum and my daughter to come I think it's 12-hour trip for us to drive up. And it's also taking time out of our, daily life, which I love doing. But it's also just that ability to kind of, just make it happen from a place of true integrity instead of really kind of pushing against those challenges and resisting it and then, dipping out.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear you say that.
Absolutely.
And what do you think you're looking forward to about being here at the Wise Women Gathering?
When women come together in a, sacred sisterhood that is held by a beautiful festival such as Wise Women Gathering, to me, it is confirmation of the healed sisterhood. It's the ability to know that the work that I do and the work that other women do is so essential and needed, and to really have that ability to sit in those spaces and meet and, network with and connect with really like-minded women, that gives you that impetus and that energy to really flow forward and go, yeah, I've got to keep going. I've got to keep doing this work because this work is so needed. And really looking forward to being there with my mum, who desperately needs this work as well. And also to have, I'm really excited about meeting the lady that's running Paige, is my daughter's kids camp, because she is now teaching the 4SJ in Victoria and with my teacher. And
is that Belinda? Which one are we talking about here?
Raven.
Oh, so Raven's not coming. Raven has busied herself with, I guess, other 4SJ stuff. And so we won't have her here this time. Yeah.
Anyway, whoever does take that space, I'm really excited for Paige to, to go off on her own and do her own festival and have that ability to kind of, check back in with me and all of those sort of things when she needs to, but to really have that independence and her own little witchy ways that she comes out with. That to me is just like, ticks every box.
Absolutely. We've done a lot around the kids camp because Raven has been unable to come, and she's always been one of the sort of key components of kids camp. So we've had a few meetings with the rest of Kids Camp and thought about how we can shape it so that it's going to work for everybody. And it's really beautiful the way that we're getting a lot more flow between the camps. So when we started, it used to be just little kids on their own, then the bigger kids and the maidens. But there's a lot more interaction between all those generations now. And it's really
Yeah,
beautiful the way that comes out.
yeah, gorgeous.
Big kids looking after little kids,
Yeah. Well, Paige is 9, so she's started some kind of peri-puberty kind of, some things are moving, like she's getting her little breast buds and she's noticing changes in her body. And she's like, so Mum, does that mean I can go to the maiden? I want the maiden. It's like, don't rush the time, sweetheart. You're in the kids camp for now, and then when you start you'll bleed. And she's, there's a book that Jane introduced us to during the 4 Seasons journey, which I can't think of exactly which one it was, but it talks about the moon goddess and how you leave out a star for the moon goddess. And she's had her star beside her bed in her bedside table since she was 7. And so,
that's so nice.
yeah, so even though she's excited, she's also like, I want to be there now, but I also don't want to be there now. So it's so nice.
Yeah, I think that book's becoming woman.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Beautiful. And so we haven't really had, so are you an astrologer as well?
I'm astrologer nerd. I wouldn't call myself an astrologer. With astrology, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. I've been studying astrology for about 5 years, but I do natal moon readings.
So talk about that. So your topic is natal moon phase and your personality type. And we've got that scheduled for Friday and Sunday. I don't remember anyone really presenting on this particular avenue before. So talk about that.
Well, this concept was birthed out of the 4SJ as well, which at our closing gathering, you do a 20-minute presentation that kind of really captures your sacred wound and your Black Lilith story and all of that sort of thing. And for me, it was, a lot about my voice and a lot about, reclaiming the magic and the wisdom that lies within me. I'm an ex-acupuncturist, so the whole cyclical wisdom around the masculine and feminine, the yin and the yang, and then we've got the sun and the moon, which is this relationship dance that spirals through our life. And depending on where the moon was in relationship to the sun when you were born, actually gives you some really beautiful insight into what you're here to do in this life. And so, like any kind of journey, we need to have, a map to begin with your north, east, south, and west. And with the, with that new moon, energy, and then coming around to first quarter moon, full moon, and last quarter moon, when you've got that kind of between new moon and full moon, and you've got that waxing, building energy, a lot of people are here in this spiral of their life, or this stage of their kind of 8 lifetime cycle, to really learn a lot about themselves and the earth and the world. And, they're here to spark, what's the word? New creations. They're here to build the foundations. And when you get a moon that's past full moon all the way through to the balsamic moon, those people are here to kind of disseminate and to teach and to give over all of this foundational wisdom that's been gathered in those first, phases of your life, or phases of your evolutionary cycle. And those people are here to teach, and they're here to, to share. And when we know which phase we're born under, not only are we, as women, capable of having a spontaneous ovulation at every single natal moon phase or time each month, that natal moon shows us a little deeper insight into ourselves. But then we've got, as you know, and as we've already spoken about, there's cycles within cycles within cycles. So as much as it gives us our personality type and our sort of soul's evolutionary blueprint around where our natal moon was, in relationship to the sun at the time of birth, every single, there's also a progressed moon, and there's all of these other deeper aspects that kind of come into relationship But when we think about the moon, there is no light of the moon. It's the lights, the moon's relationship with the sun that gives it its light. So we can't actually look at the natal moon without its relationship to the sun. And for me, that's kind of like our soul and our ego, our body and our mind. It's like, how do we play this dance within our life to be able to ride the currents of what's happening around us and within us well enough to know that we're here to fulfill the destiny we came into to fulfill. Kind of like, you know, a rose seed's destined to be a rose plant, an acorn, an oak tree. Every single one of us is born with that encoded soul's destiny to become who we're meant to be. And it's really whether we choose to ride the waves and learn more about ourselves and become the people we're meant to be, or we can choose to, you know, to suppress and to follow the crowd and to just, you know, play safe and play quiet. But the more we know about ourselves, the more capacity we have to truly understand what we're here to do and to be the women we came here to be.
So what's that going to look like in the session? Don't tell us every step of the session, but if people are wondering like, okay, so that's what it's about, but what's the session going to look like?
So as an embodiment coach, I don't like to give just more information. My approach to teaching and to being in Sacred Circle with women will be in Sacred Circle, and we will be embodying the moon phases and feeling in our bodies what that actually feels like to be, you know, I'm not exactly sure. Often it's used with the seed, the plant like analogy where, you know, the new moon is birthing the light. So it's the seed underneath the soil that's trying to break out of its husk and grow its roots. And then we move through the phase in this real embodied, you know, understanding of what it means to be in each of the phases. And, you know, being a shamanic practitioner, I dare say we'll probably be doing a drum journey to meet our natal moons and to converse with and to learn more about ourselves from everything that we've done in circle together that time during the sessions. But yeah, that's pretty much that in a nutshell.
That's helpful so people can know, like if people are not totally comfortable about movement stuff or feeling a bit exposed there, they're going to know that that's what's happening in there. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. It's like, even if it is like there is an invitation if you want to do the embodiment section, you know, standing up and moving and, you know, even dancing, whatever you want to do, or you can lie, sit and just close your eyes and just feel. So I don't know how many women will be in the space that we have, how much room we'll have, but I would say that this is probably going to be more of a gentle inward embodiment of feeling the feelings, of invoking the phases and the shifts that we get as we move through the cycle, instead of actually getting up and fully moving and, you know, things like that. If women want to do that and they're open to that, then maybe we can have like, you know, an inner circle of women who are, you know, softly, gently doing their embodiment, and then the outer circle can do, you know, their larger movements.
I just had a look at the timetable and you're in a tent, so that gives you a lot of space. You can spread right out if you need to. Outside tent. Yeah, nice. So I also just saw on the program, and let me pull that back up, that we've got this session kind of in the stream of holistic conscious living, but I wonder, what do you think? Is it fitting more in holistic conscious living or women's mysteries?
Women's mysteries.
Yeah, so that needs to be updated on the program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, when I say that, everyone, it's just what color it is on the main program. That's all the only difference. It's the only place it shows up. But it helps us just kind of work out the spread of things, right? We don't want 5 women's mysteries things on at once and no plant wisdom or whatever. But yeah, that's good to know. Okay.
But it does, you know, it does weave into conscious living, because when we know ourselves so much more deeply, then we can actually change our lifestyle and our trajectory to fit that. But yeah, it's much more women's mysteries.
Yeah, does sound like it. Yeah, that's cool. Well, I've done everything on that page. Just looking at all my questions. You're not getting the best version of me today, Star. I have to apologize.
That's okay, sweetheart. I totally get it.
You got plague version of me. What would you think that people are going to walk away with out of that session?
A deeper understanding of themselves, a deeper understanding. The moon is the closest astrological body to the earth, and it's the fastest moving. And it's, as so many of us know, it impacts our emotions, our habits, our feelings, our memories. It's the feminine aspect of self. And in today's society, so much of life is geared in that masculine. It's the doing, it's the, the charging forward, it's the goals and the strategies. But being able to come into a space of pure feminine embodiment around who am I and what does it feel to be me? And what does it feel to be living in accordance with that undercurrent of my soul's destiny and the personality type that I am? Am I a crescent moon type that kind of births the light and births something new, and wonder why I'm always wanting new things and wanting, and all these new things are coming, but then I actually function better if I birth the ideas and then actually give them off to someone else to implement. So I honestly believe that women will walk away with a deeper understanding of themselves, and then how to use this information to then go deeper again. We only have 90-minute sessions to go into, as much as we can cover in that space. But then there's options of, giving people kind of, go and look at this or have a look at that, or these are the ways of getting more information from what you've already received.
And does that lead into your gift that you're sharing? Does that sort of go from there?
Yeah, the gift that I'm sharing, and it's shared through workable documents, so I'm actually adding to it all the time. And I will, once you've downloaded the gift, I will email you if there's been an update, things like that. But the gift is an ebook on cyclical wisdom and knowing how to align your cycle with the movements of the moon. Because when we, as an acupuncturist back in, my past life, for 20 years, I specialised in women's health, fertility, birth and pregnancy. And through that, I discovered that so much was missing when it came to truly understanding, our rites of passage and all of those sort of things. So I created this ebook to help women understand that, we have a second biological clock. We aren't meant to, as women, align our lives with the circadian rhythm of, get up every day, do the same thing day after day, week after week. If we align our cycle with the 4 phases of the moon and the seasons, then we understand that at different phases we need to eat differently, exercise differently, socialize differently. We need different foreplay. All of that sort of stuff is what's in my ebook up for offer.
Oh, that's an excellent sharing. So great. So I feel like we've smashed through all the questions so quickly. I don't really know what else to talk about. Have you got, where do you want to go? Do you have anything else you want to say?
I'm just really excited to meet you and to meet all the other women, the attendees and the presenters, and to be able to be in a space of such a beautiful healed sisterhood, and to be sharing meals, to be camping and cooking, all of the juicy things about being woman. Like, I am so excited to be part of this gathering, and really grateful to have been accepted. And so thank you.
Yay. Yes. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm excited. I think this is really good work that we need to have in that sort of conglomerate of all the great works that we are sharing all the time. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, how about you tell everybody where they can find you?
So my business is called Awaken Divine Feminine. I would like to say I hang out on social media, but the truth is I don't. I'm not very good. Yeah, not very good at showing up and doing that sort of thing, but I do occasionally. To receive my my gift, it's EveningStar.me. Type that into your search bar and you will find the downloadable ebook. Otherwise, my website is in construction, but if you go to awakendivinefeminine.com.au, you will find a lot of random information about what I do. Please don't download anything off the website at the moment because it's not working.
Good to know.
Good old tech stuff. But once you download the ebook, then I'll be able to send you some really cool, juicy, power practices and rituals and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, great. This feels like something that's relevant to women of all ages, right?
Absolutely. Even for women who aren't bleeding anymore, we actually cycle with the moon. And that is how important, like, as the trigger guardian, like, my whole thing is about relationships and emotions and being in this space of just not fitting in life. It's like, why do I have big emotions and everyone else seems to be okay? Why am I struggling with motherhood and only just keeping my head above water when it feels like everyone else out there is doing okay? It's like the comparison and the competition that comes up in women because of the society that we've been raised in, because we're pushing ourselves to be in this, linear lifestyle. It pushes us out of being able to be our true and authentic selves. And so women of all ages, I do this work with my daughter, she's 9, and she's been doing this work since she was born. And I do this work with, the women in their 80s, because it's a deep, deep remembering. And when we start doing it, it's like, I want more, how do I get more?
And it's also that 100th monkey principle, right? Like,
yeah,
whoever's doing it is making it available and accessible to more people just through whatever that
absolutely.
weird thing that happens out in the ether is.
Yep. Yeah, the more of us doing it, the better. I've never seen competition when it comes to, offering our gifts into the world, because it's our unique and individual expression and energy that will resonate with the right people. And, they might stay with you for a certain amount of time and then go, oh my gosh, I've got to work with Hollie. Hollie's energy is just my match right now. It's so beautiful to bring women of that kind of really similar vibration together to show other women that it's totally okay to just to be part of the movement is all that's necessary. Doesn't matter who you work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also doable.
Yeah.
That's a big piece. It's beautiful to hear you say some of these things, because these are the things that the other women that I've interviewed who have been to the conference before are saying about why they like it. So I can hear you saying that's what you're seeking, those non-competitive spaces and intergenerational spaces. And so good to know that is what we're delivering, because other people have been saying that's what they like. Excellent.
Brilliant.
All right. Well, why don't we pause there? I think that's really lovely. Nice. Karen says, thank you very much. That's a really nice little, my brain is so fried. That was a great version of understanding what it is you're doing. And actually, even though I've read all of the bios and all of the descriptions for the workshops, I feel like I understand so much more about it. And I really am glad that we chose it, because it does so fit in. And of course, Jane knows that. That's why she told you to come and do it, right? She's like, yeah, you need to be there. So that's really awesome. And for everyone who may or may not know who Jane Hardwick Collins is and the School of Shamanic Womancraft, you may not. I know it's rare, but it's possible. We've got Sequoia on tomorrow to be speaking to the school and to some of Jane's work that she'll be presenting at the conference. Jane and I couldn't match up timing for the two of us to get an interview, but we got Sequoia to do it. So that's good. All right, everybody. Well, deep thanks for Star showing up here, and good luck in this ongoing journey. I'm sure more vulnerabilities might show up before you get here, but we're ready for you when you arrive, and there'll be open arms and safe spaces for you all to land after your 12-hour journey.
Thanks, Hollie, and I'll see everyone there.
Yeah, bless.
Bye.